Hello and welcome back to this channel. And of course, talks are just real here. No scripts, no preparation, just whatever is, whatever flows, whatever comes through. And that is just what this channel is. And so today's topic of discussion is free, to be free. And free is simple. It is made up of four words: FREE. Two of them repeat, but that doesn't matter. But the reason it matters is because it is free. I am free to choose what to speak. I am free to tell you that free has four words. But this is not about that freedom. Freedom of speech, of course, one has and one has not. That is the point of your government, your kind of ideals, your law. It's up to you, it's up to the people, it's up to the society of free speech. But the free, to be free, the to be free sentence that I'm talking about, it's about, of course, to be free and what keeps you from being free. And in fact, what people believe to be free and are sometimes free actually are truly free. However, they are free within a bound. They are not entirely free. And that is just the topic of discussion of this video. And of course, sub to the channel if you like it, share the videos if you like it, and let's just start with it. So to be free is to be without any bounds, is to be without any boundaries, is to be without any chains, is to be without any definitions, is to be without any full stop, is to be without any sort of preconceptions, is to be without any sort of things that hinder with your thought or with your being. That is to be free. And in today's day and age, most people believe themselves to be free just by thought, just by being here. And of course, physical freedom happens, it depends on people. Some people like to train, some people like to meditate. That is their way of expressing freedom through body language. Some people dance, many dance, some people make music, some people make art. All of that is freedom for them. They indulge themselves into these things to feel that sense of freedom. But we are not here to feel that for a particular moment. That is not especially the case that I want to discuss. Those things are natural, it happens. They are kind of, what do you say, kind of disturbances and things that are away from what you normally do in life. I'm talking about the freedom that comes every moment, that is every moment, and that happens throughout your life. That shouldn't be a one off instance. A freedom that is one off isn't actually a freedom, it is just a stroll in the park, it is just a swim in a pool. It is not swimming in the ocean. It is not choosing to swim in the ocean. It is choosing to just go out and swim in a pool once for leisure, which is fine, no doubt. One can have that their way. It's their life. No one is here to tell them to do that. Anyways, the freedom that I am talking about is the freedom of the mind, the body, and the spirit. Now, the freedom of mind is simple, is to be free of all the preconceptions that are there, is to be free of all the things that are already there, is to be free of thoughts that kind of abide you, that kind of bind you to this kind of form, to this way of being, to this humanness that most people describe. Is to, of course, have food, to sleep, to do these things that are required by people and for the people, which is good, especially if you are living in a society. And that is basically the things that one has in minds. And to achieve freedom of the mind, one has to be free of all of them. One has to understand that even though these things are there and one has to perform these things should come out of freeness. These things shouldn't come out of compulsion and boundness. These things should come out of being able to see this in retrospect, that yes, even though you are capable of doing it, even though you might not want to do it, still you are doing that. And that is a freedom that one should opt for, one should choose for. And then let's talk about the freedom of spirit. The freedom of spirit is essentially, let's kind of change it, let's take it as a freedom of soul. So what the freedom of soul is, again, when we talk about soul and the mind, many times it is kind of connected, right? Because many times we cannot distinguish what is the soul, what is the mind, when does the mind speak, when does the heart speak. So there's kind of a linking between them, of course. So when you are free of things from your mind, when you are kind of free from the things that are outside, which kind of inquire with your functioning mind, with kind of inquire with the mathematical brain, when you're free of those things, of course a part of your soul is free as well. But again, when we are talking about the soul and the mind is kind of the most, let's say, the fourth taking place, or the most fourth taking piece in the process. And instead of the mind being the fourth taking process, or the mind being the first thing that gets on with doing a thing that is related to you, it shouldn't just be the mind in the first place or the soul, it should be one as a union. And that is the freedom of the soul as well. So the freedom of soul is absolutely linked with the freedom of mind, but the freedom of mind only comes when one is truly free and liberated from the soul, if you know what I mean. But of course these things are like words, of course, do not define these things very easily. It is something that one has to inquire, it is something one has to know for themselves. One cannot just, like, I cannot tell you what it is. It is basically just impossible to put in words, but I can kind of tell you what it is and what it is not anyways. So the freedom of mind comes from, let's say, figuring things out that are external. The freedom of the soul comes from figuring things out that are internal. And when one has figured things out of the external, and when one kind of figures things out of the internal, one starts to unravel, one starts to finally feel free continuously, not just for, let's say, a particular set of time and then is binded. That is a very, that is still a very bounded freedom. And when talking about total freedom, it is literally about being free moment to moment, yet in longevity, yet throughout whatever is happening, not just in this set amount of time or then this set amount of place. Wherever you may be, whatever you might be doing, you are still free. And that is the kind of thing that happens. Anyways, again, these videos are not for, like, you can say everyone, because some people can understand the words, some people cannot, because that is the nature of the words. Even I myself am not able to understand certain people who speak about certain things, because words have their own meanings, people have their own meanings for the words. Sorry for the disturbances that are happening, festivities are going all around here. So yeah, so again, words are just a way of thought, a way of expressing. That is it. Same as feelings. However, feelings are more in depth because they cannot be expressed truly. They can only be felt, truly felt. But words are kind of that medium through which we communicate what cannot be said into the said, which kind of becomes this weird mixture of what is physically possible for us to interact with and what the mind is truly capable of, you know, grasping that. And that is kind of the weird thing that happens when one tries to explain the things that are very kind of not physical, which are basically not kind of entirely of this world. So yeah, that was it. It was just a fine video. If you like this, of course, like the channel, sub to the channel, of course, check out my main channel, Rashman Productions. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next.